Book 12 of the Iliad. The Trojans and their allies break the wall, led on by Hector. So the son of Meniotis was tending the herd of Eurypylos within the tent, but the Argives and the Trojans still fought desperately, nor were the trench and the high wall above it to keep the Trojans in check longer. They had built to protect their ships, and had dug the trench all around it, that it might safeguard both the ships and the rich spoils, which they had taken. But they had not offended the hecatombs to the gods. It had been built without the consent of immortals, and therefore it did not last. So long as Hector lived and Achilles nursed his anger, and so long as the city of Priam remained untaken, the great wall of the Achaeans stood firm. But when the bravest of the Trojans were no more, and many also of the Argives, though some were yet left alive, when, moreover, the city was sacked in the 10th year, and the Argives had gone back with their ships to their own country, then Poseidon and Apollo took counsel to destroy the wall, and they turned on to the streams of all the rivers from Mount Ida to into the sea, Rhasis, Heptaporus, Chersus, Rhodius, Granicus, Aesopus, goodly Scamander, with Semiosis, where many a shield and helm had fallen. Many a hero of the race of the demigods had bitten the dust. Phoebus Apollo turned the mouths of all these rivers together and made them flow for 9 days against the wall, while Zeus reigned the whole time that he might wash it sooner into the sea. Poseidon himself, trident in hand, surveyed the work, and threw into the sea all the foundations of the beams and stones which the Achaeans had laid with so much toil. He made all level by the mighty stream of Hellespont, and then, when he had swept the wall away, he spread a great beach of sand over the place where it had been. This done, he turned the rivers back into old courses. This was what Poseidon and Apollo were to do in after time, but as yet battle and turmoil were still raging round the wall, till its timbers ranged under the blows that rained upon them. The Argives, cowed by the scourge of Zeus, were hemmed in at the ships in fear of Hector, the mighty minister of rout, who had heretofore fought with the force and fury of a whirlwind. As a lion or wild boar turns fiercely on the dogs and men that attack him, while these form a solid wall, and shower their javelins as they face him. His courage is all undaunted, but his high spirit will be the death of him. Many a time does he charge at his pursuers to scatter them, and they fall back as often as he does so. Even so, Hector go about among the host exhorting his men, and cheering them on to cross the trench. But the horses dare not do so, and stood neighing upon its brink, for the width frightened them. They could neither jump it nor cross it, for it had overhanging banks all around upon either side, above which were the sharp stakes that the sons of the Achaeans had planted so close and strong as a defense against all who would assail it. A horse, therefore, could not get into it and draw his chariots after him, but those who were on foot kept drawing their very utmost. Then Polydamas went up to Hector, and said, Hector, you are the captains of the Trojans' allies. It is madness for us to try and drive our horses across the trench. It will be very hard to cross, for it is full of sharp stakes, and beyond these there is the wall. Our horses therefore cannot get down into it, and would be of no use if they did. Moreover, it is a narrow place, and we should come to harm, if indeed great Zeus is minded to help the Trojans, and in his anger will utterly destroy the Achaeans. I would myself gladly see them perish now, and here far from Argos, but if they should rally and we are driven back from the ships pell-mell into the trench, there will be not so much as a man get back to the city to tell the tale. Now, therefore, let us all do as I say. Let our squires hold our horses by the trench, but let us follow Hector in a body on foot, clad in full armor, and if the day of their doom is at hand, the Achaeans will not be able to withstand us. Thus spoke Polydamas, and his saying pleased Hector, who sprang in full armor to the ground, and all the other Trojans, when they saw him do so, also left their chariots. Each man then gave his horses over to his charioteer in charge to hold them ready for him at the trench. Then they formed themselves into companies, made themselves ready, and in 5 bodies followed their leaders. Those who at went with Hector and Polydamas were the bravest and most in number, and the most determined to break through the wall and fight at the ships. Cibriones was also joined with them as third in command, for Hector had left his chariots in charge of a less valiant soldier. The next company was led by Paris, Alcathous, and Agenor, the third by Helenus and Diphobos, 2 sons of Priam, and with them was the hero Asius, the son of Hiereticus, whose great black horses of the breed that comes from the river Celius had brought him from Aricide. Aeneas, the valiant son of Anicius, led before he and the 2 sons of Anator, Archelaus, Acamus, and then well versed in all the arts of war. Sarpedon was captain over the allies, and took with him Gallicus and Asapartius, whom he deemed most valiant after himself, for he was far the best of men of them all. These helped to array one another in their ox-hide shields, and then charged straight at the Danons, for they felt sure that it would not hold out longer, that they should themselves now fall upon the ships. The rest of the Trojans and their allies now followed the counsel of Polydamas, but Asius, the son of Hereticus, would not leave his horses and his esquire behind him. In his foolhardiness he took them on with him towards the ships, nor did he fail to come by his end in consequence. Nevermore was he to return to win a beaten Ilium, exulting in his chariot and his horses. Ere he would do so, death's ill-omened name had overshadowed him, and he had fallen by the spear of Iomenius, the noble son of Deucalion. He had driven towards the left wing of the ships, by which way the Achaeans used to return with their chariots and horses from the plain. Hither he drove, and found the gates with their doors open wide, with great bar down, for the gatesmen kept them open so as to let those of the comrades enter who might be flying towards the ships. Hither of set purpose did he direct his horses. His men followed him with a loud cry, for they felt sure that the Achaeans would not hold out longer, that they should now fall upon the ships. Little did they know that at the gates they should find 2 of the bravest chieftains, proud sons of the fighting, Lapithete, the son of Polypotis, mighty son of Pirithous, and other Heliantias peer of murderous Ares. These stood before the gates like 2 high oak trees upon the mountains that towered from their wide-spreading roots.